My name is Dr. Leslie, and this is Intentionally Disturbing. My guest today is Brian Burnett. I wanted to have Brian on because I immediately met him and felt connected to him. He is an incredible human being, and now he is a coach. So in our talk, you get to see him coach me through a difficult time and how magical he is. But in addition to that, Brian has been through some major shit. He had a long addiction with crystal methamphetamine, major disturbing health problems. He came out as gay. He met the love of his life, and he's turned everything around. I want you to meet Brian, and I want you to see his resiliency and his capacity in action. Oh, hey. You're here.
Tickle.
Okay, we'll just keep talking, and we'll just record, and then we'll edit it.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Can I give you some support? Get out of your head about it.
Can you give me support?
Yeah, get your out of your head about it.
Okay. Can you coach me a little?
Yeah, so what's your intention? Like, what was your original intention around this?
Inviting you on the podcast or the whole podcast?
The whole theme, the whole mission, the whole vision.
Oh, I like this. The coach is coaching. Yeah.
That's what I do.
I know. Okay. My intention was to give a platform to people to share their stories, but with each person, a story is something the rest of the world can resonate with in some way. And so out of 50 plus episodes a year, we have this ability to share different personalities, traumas, struggles, particularly disturbing ones, because I can hold the room, I can hold the person for those disturbing moments in that content because of my job.
So what do you feel like is getting in the way of that?
The guest.
Well, so if the guest has a story, you brought them on for a reason, like as the therapist, what is it that you get to bring into the space that maybe they're not?
Yeah.
So they feel comfortable coming into the space and being seen, right?
I actually should take that back because I think it's me getting in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I know.
You're the common denominator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. So what do you think is getting in the way?
That I can see people's vulnerabilities rise up.
Okay.
And I feel bad on camera.
Okay.
Poking at it. Like I don't like a lot of interviewers who will like literally go to Skid Row, pick someone up who's high, give them $100 for an interview, and then get 1 million views on YouTube.
Okay. Got it.
That voyeurism to me is misplaced.
Okay. Got it. So instead of poking the vulnerability, could you hold the vulnerability?
Yes.
What would that look like?
I think maybe mentioning that I see it and offering a place to discuss it.
Yeah.
And maybe just calling out the fact that there are cameras and the production crew, and it's a hard place to feel vulnerable and stay in it.
Got it.
Would that work?
What are you noticing in that conversation?
Right now?
Yeah. Where else, girl?
Oh, I thought you meant like old conversations.
No, like where else will we go?
That would be really nice if that could happen.
Well, who's that up to?
It's up to me.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I'm a group facilitator. And so at the end of the day, they'll only go as far as I'm willing to go in that moment. And if I'm not uncomfortable and if I'm not shitting on some level, right? Shitting, then I know I'm not going far enough.
Like shitting your pants or shitting on someone?
That's past lives. This life. No, I mean, like literally when I'm in a group and I'm leading a group and I'm pushing someone and I can see that they're getting in that space, then I'm uncomfortable and I'm afraid almost. And then that's where I'm like, okay, that's where I'm going. because now I'm uncomfortable, which now means they're going to be uncomfortable with me. And then we're going through it together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then like, it doesn't have to be poking at them. It's me going, okay, this is going to fucking suck. Just FYI, can we go do this together? And then figure out what that looks like. And then holding it with compassion and vulnerability, but also with like, I don't know. I used to think love was like this gushy, warm thing. It's not. Love can look like me taking it and just using a sledgehammer and going, fucking get over it. Right. In those situations. And so, yeah, I mean, that's my invitation is like, if you're afraid, they'll be afraid. And you'll always know how you're showing up based off of how they're showing up. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Well, what does that look like for you? How would you push that for you?
Well, I think reminding myself of my stimulus value.
Yeah. I'm excited to sit down with you. I'm like, I want you to push me, honestly. Or whatever you want to call it, poke it, whatever the hell you want to do, right?
We're
right?
such
shit on it,
therapists.
whatever.
Such
Shit
therapist
on
talk.
it, whatever. Like,
I'll hold you and push you.
Maz.
Tell me though, like therapist talk, like
what do you mean?
Like you're a coach.
Yeah.
Tell like the conversation we just had right now is unique for me. I don't meet a lot of people who I can talk with or be talked to or talk to like that.
Okay.
How do you get so comfortable in your skin doing
it's
this?
Not about me. Like I learned a long time ago. Like, look, I'm a gay male. Grew up in Oklahoma. Beat up 3 times for being a faggot. Principal said it was my fault I got beat up because I was gay. I mean, all kinds of shit. Yeah. And
oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so all of that happens in my life. At the end of the day, I remember thinking, could have killed me. I'd still be gay at the end of the day. Right. And then walking through meth addiction and like all the sex addiction and everything else I was doing, like life is not personal. Life doesn't give a shit at the end of the day. And so if I'm holding the space, then it holds them back. And that's not why I'm here. My job is to open their space, not hold them in the space that they know. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's what got them there. Right. And so I'm like,
but how did you get yourself out of there?
God, I knew you were going to ask me that question. I don't fucking know.
Tables have turned.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I can flip it if you need.
No, we're not going to.
I can flip it.
Do you want me to get my gun right now?
Okay. Hot.
It is hot. It's a sexy gun.
That would be hot. No, I mean.
How did you. God. Because that's something I like.
Yeah.
I strive to be in the place you are. How did you get there?
You know, God, through a lot of anxiety, through a lot of stress, through a lot of getting it wrong, people screaming and yelling at me. Look,
you mean like trauma, or like who's screaming and yelling at you? Like the bullies?
No, well, how do I word it? So most of my life, I'm the youngest child. Most of my life, I was told to shut up, sit down, stop being a burden, whatever that is, right? And that is those aspects. And I'm an entertainer on top of that. So telling me while I'm doing cartwheels on the couch was kind of hard, and I'm painting my nails, kind of hard to tell me to be quiet, sit down, shut up, stop being a burden, right? And so I think that a piece of me just kind of realized, well, I'll say it this way. I know what it feels like to be on the underbelly of life. You know, and it sucks. It doesn't feel good. But it's not who I am. It's what I did. Right? Does that make sense? And so I've had to teach myself, like, I'm not my results, but my results show me what I intended in the moment, if that makes sense. And so if I want to love people and I want them to grow and I want them to be better people, like we were talking before, around like my only desire is for people to be magnificent, to go live these magnificent lives. Not my job. I can't do that. It's up to you. But how do I hold somebody as if they're already magnificent? Does that make sense? And if you're holding them in
it makes sense. I don't know.
Wait, what? What's happening?
How do you hold somebody as if they are, even though they may not be?
Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think that there's something wrong with you?
Yeah. Tons.
Like what?
Oh, I get way pressured I make
Okay.
everyone else's problem. No, I make my problems everyone else's
Okay.
when I
Welcome to
want shit
life.
done.
Okay. Got it. So you're good at delegating. Okay,
Burned
great.
out and
Great.
burned out and callous to a degree.
Okay. Got it.
I'm really, really, really hard on myself.
Gotcha. So those are all
Yeah.
behaviors. That's not who you are.
Yeah.
So you take a baby and a baby is born. Does it have value?
Yeah. If
What?
it's wearing like bamboo clothing and it's really cute and it's the kid.
Don't go bougie on me right
Kicky
now.
Pants brand?
Right? Like we have this baby that's born into this world and it's shitting and it's demanding things and it's crying and peeing on people and colic and keeping you up all night.
Yeah.
And you still hold it as this precious being. Yes,
Yeah.
it's still valuable. It did nothing other than be born and you're holding it valuable. As adults, we get all these layered shit on top of us. Like,
Yeah.
be a better student, be a better daughter, be there on time, get better grades, be better at your job, whatever. Like, we have all this shit put on top of us when all you have to do is be a valuable being and you already are. Does it make sense? And so, like, if I'm already holding you in that space, then that shit doesn't matter what you're saying. It's a story. And the story doesn't have any relevance to who you want to be. It's who you've been. And so I'm not going to listen to the damn story you just gave me because that's who you used to be. But that's not who you are. Those are behaviors that happen from the past, not who you are today, right? I don't think
So
that's
you're
who you are
saying
today.
like dress for the job you want, not the job you have? And you're going to treat them like they're already in that role?
I treat them like
Was that
I
the
love
most
them.
superficial interpretation of what you're saying?
Was like, wow.
Your face.
Like,
You're as bushy as me, so okay.
Excuse me, do you not see this? No, I mean, honestly, like, I do. I mean, I think you and I can relate. Like, people have never been nice to me. Well, that's dramatic. A lot of people have not been nice to me through my lifetime, but I still love people. I don't know why I love people, but I
Yeah.
love people, even though they are the most disgusting, grimy, slimy people in the
Yeah.
entire world. I fucking love them and I find them interesting. And so, if I want to be able to be in the space with them where they feel held, then that means I've got to love them, whether I like them or not, right? And the way I've come to that terms is everybody is a child. Everyone is this infant being held. And somewhere along the line, they believe the lies that they were given, that there's something wrong with them. I say this in all of my groups. I'm like, people think something's wrong with you. They're broken. And like, if you came here to be fixed, you're fucked because there's nothing wrong with you, right? What if at the end of the day, that's the lie you have to get rid of, that there's something wrong with you? And you embrace the piece of like, well, moving forward, if there was nothing wrong with me, what would my life look like? How would my life be different today? If I believed that my parents were doing their best with the tools that they had, if everybody that I met had their own intentions for their own lives and their own survival, and there's nothing wrong with me, like, what would my life look like? What would your life look like?
I think people would take advantage of me. I'd be slapped without seeing it coming.
Why do you come from that space?
Because I think it sounds naive.
I didn't say be stupid about it. I don't hand you a knife and go, hey, I love you. Right? I'm like, please carve your initials in my chest right now. I didn't say that. I simply said I get to love you. I'm dealing with addicts who most of their life have been treated like shit.
And severe mental illness, not
and
like
mental health. Well, I think that comes part of the process. Like, I think addiction comes from mental health, honestly. And you're dealing with these people who have been dejected, rejected, whatever in their own lives. Most of them didn't have parents or no semblance of a parents, and didn't know what it was like to be human before walking in the door. And girl, my first day of treatment, I punched a woman, called her a bitch, ran down an alleyway, threw my medications under the gutter, and tried to go escape. And then the police got me. That's my first day in fucking treatment.
Like, was that residential or outpatient?
It was outpatient. I was in the hospital the first 10 days of my recovery. I had gotten a needle jabbed in the back of my leg. And
with what? Depakote or?
No, I'm an IV user. And so
not medication. It was.
Well, it
Okay.
was medication in its own way. Yeah. Yeah. No, but no, I got it jabbed in the back of my leg and I just said, fucking ignore it. And so I just
Wait,
pulled it out. Huh.
who jabbed it in your leg?
I did. I didn't
Is
put the
that a
lid
spot?
back
Is that
on.
a spot? Oh, it was an accident.
Yeah, I didn't put a leg on. I didn't put the lid back on it. And I set it
Oh,
on the bed and then I sat down and it jabbed me in the back of the leg and I just got up, yanked it out. Hi, you don't give a shit, right? And
where did
uh-huh.
you then have more meth in you?
No, but there became a staph infection. And
Oh,
so because it was not clean at that point in time and there was a lot going on with that little needle. And so my understanding is then the infection will go to the foot because gravity pulls the infection down. And so my foot was the size of a football. And me, major manipulator and liar at the time, was like, oh, I don't know what it is. So I went to the emergency room. They're like, oh, it must be gout. And so they treated me for gout. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger and worse and worse. Finally, by the time, I think, did I not tell you this? Oh, I thought I told you
not the
this
foot
process.
part.
Yeah. So what got me sober was my dad had died in January of 2017. My mom had died in 2015. I'd watched her die through the process. And then my dad died in January. My brothers were trying to evict me from the house. Nobody had any clue what was happening, why I was acting the way I was acting, why I was hiding things, avoiding people. But I was living in their house trying to just avoid the life, right? And hope that nobody noticed. But I got the needle jabbed in the back of the leg. I'd gotten raped at that point in time. The guy had videotaped it. And
Where?
then
In like
in the
in
house,
crack houses or?
no, in my parents' house. Like I invited people over all the time and I'd be high and I'd just invite people in and out of the house. And I was taking GHB. I don't know if you know what GHB
Yeah.
is. And so I'd take GHB with my meth, with my weed on top of my ecstasy. And then
GHP is, to explain, it's like a liquid that you can take or a pill,
it was
or
liquid.
it's in
Yeah.
baby oil apparently.
Yeah. Oh, I've never heard that one.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was new. Thanks for educating me. Now I know where to get it. I'm just kidding.
But it's like how would you describe it? Like a quick drunk feeling?
Yeah, it's called the date rape drug. And so in like a capsize, you can drink it. And then within about 30-45 minutes, you'll feel, I always got naked. And so I'd always do it if I knew people were coming over. I would always drink it. I'd get naked. And then
Why?
huh?
Why do you want to be naked?
I don't know. There was something about it that I always just wanted to get naked. I was in a group of 20 guys, didn't know any of them, drank it, and I was naked into like, not kidding, like 15 minutes.
It really is the date rape drug.
I was like willing. So I wasn't, yeah. Anyway, so at the end of the day, that happened. And then I got syphilis from it. So I don't know how familiar I was with syphilis, but every end of me was pussing on some way, shape, or form. And so I didn't know what was happening.
What do you mean every end?
So if you're receiving anal sex, it has a discharge, and then from your dick or your penis, it has a discharge,
Of
and
pus.
then pus and infection. This clear, lovely liquid. I don't even know what you would call it, and
Infection.
yeah,
Like infected. Okay.
You're the doctor, girl.
I don't know.
You told me.
I'm not that kind of doctor.
I don't know. And so all that happened, and
And then your foot's like the size of a football at the same time?
Yeah. And then I was just kind of done. I didn't know what else to do. And I was just shooting up every morning and called the suicide hotline. They hung up on me twice because I was in psychosis and they just couldn't make out since what I was talking about, what's happening. Third time I called them, they called it harassment. So they called the police.
Oh
And
my God.
so they broke the door down of my parents' house at the time. And I was in pink underwear and a pink tank top that I had dyed by accident with whites and a pink or red something. And I was 129 pounds.
Oh my God.
And they grabbed me. All my stuff was sitting out. So they just kind of grabbed me, put me in the back, brought me into the hospital. And that's when my recovery began at that point in time. And so, yeah, but like we were talking about earlier, like that's just like, it's my story. It's my story. And so it's people are like, oh my God, that's someone, but that was my reality. And that's what I was going through. And half the time I wasn't even fully aware of what was happening.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, your parents die, check out, high, check out, doing sexual things. I'd be in the middle of sex with someone, I'd just get up and walk out. Right? I'd just be like, I'm done with you. And I just walk out. I was so detached from life. I was so ready to die. And I tried committing suicide a couple of times and I'd wake up and
How
be
did you
pissed
try
off. So I was in Indianapolis at the time. I was working a job and a dog of mine had just died. and I'd never had anyone die in my life, and they euthanized him in my lap, and I'm like, oh, this will die. Hardest moment of my life, and isn't that sad? That was the hardest moment of my life.
After everything else,
even still, that was still the hardest moment of my life.
People
He
love
was my
their
baby.
pets.
He was my baby, right?
But that was, you were attached to him. You weren't attached to you.
Yeah, because he loved me for me. Like, he loved every moment of me and everything about me. And when I'd sleep with him, we would cuddle and I'd rub his belly. I just felt like I let him down. And so he got sick because I let him into a lake, and he got something in the lake, and he got sick. And then I wasn't paying attention because I was drinking and using. And he just got sicker and sicker until it was just too late. And then when I tried to save him, it was just too late. So I just felt a lot of guilt and a lot of complex about it. And so euthanizing him, I just went off. That's when I went into meth. That's when I went into everything else. I just kind of gave up on life. So I took blood pressure medication, antidepressant medication, sleeping pills, alcohol, weed, 2 or 3 other pills. The bottles of them. I woke up 3 days later. And I'd shit myself. I'd peed all over the place. The dogs had shit and peed, or the one dog that was left peed everywhere. And I had even forgotten I tried killing myself. I completely forgot. I got up, I walked in the bathroom, kind of did my thing. And then I showed up at work thinking it was a Friday, and it was a Wednesday. Yeah. And so that was that.
How did you get up?
Pissed. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I literally woke up 3 days later, and I didn't remember. I didn't remember at first what happened or what I tried doing. I mean, I have little flashbacks now where I remember getting up while I was, I think, going down. And I remember hitting my head on the dresser and falling to the floor, having major vertigo. I remember all that stuff, right? But I don't know.
And it's time for a break.
Have you had trauma in your life?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, do you remember every moment that are happening in it? Do you remember, like, I detach through a lot of it. I almost go through a process of, like, watching it happen versus being in it. And so,
what's that dissociation, right? And so the
male
depersonalization is going to be like, you don't feel like it's happening to your body, but then the derealization is like you feel like it's a movie happening. It's like such an extreme trauma response.
Yeah, it's no big deal. Like, it's like,
it's a huge deal. I mean, it feels like not a big deal because
of the like, it's like no big deal, like whatever. Like, so when people like, oh my God, I'm like, that's just, it was where I went through, right? That's my life.
I've definitely experienced that. I haven't done drugs, but I've left my body because of because of pain or trauma. Yeah.
Did you, when you did that, did it feel like a movie was suddenly going for you?
Yeah, I remember telling people it felt like a DVD. Like, you could press forward. To scene to scene. Now we're like we don't use DVDs a lot, but it felt like somebody was forwarding the scenes without me doing it.
While you were there, you mean?
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I guess that makes. I don't know. I look back and see it. It's almost like a replay for me. Yeah, I don't know during that process, but yeah. Then so your question was, how did I get out of it?
Yeah.
I remember sitting in the hospital bed. Doctor going, we're going to amputate your leg because it was infected. We don't know what we're going to do with it. Guy had sexually assaulted my, like literally torn my hole. And so they were going to have to do surgery with that. I had an abscess on the back of the leg. So it was the size of like a grapefruit. And so they were going to have to cut that out. I had syphilis. So they were like, we have to do a spinal tap because we don't know how long you've had it. All that kind of stuff. I remember laying in the bed and like, either God, you take me or you leave me. Either one of the two. Like, do something to save me. And honestly, that's when the whole world shifted for me. I don't know why. I don't know how. But neighbor from my parents who lived there for 20 years didn't even know these people. They suddenly knew who I was, and they showed up and they brought, making sure I was okay, because they saw the hospital come and all that stuff. And knew my parents had died, so they knew where I was. And so she ended up being a case manager at a treatment center. I was like, shut the fuck up. How does that happen? 7 doors down from there, a woman who used to walk her dog when I would walk my dogs. She's a therapist and her husband's a therapist around trauma. So they started coming in and talking to me, and like all these people just started coming into my life. And I was like, God, like, what the fuck? Like, why would even still today, I have a really hard time. Why would God save me through that process? Like, why would people give a fuck about who I was? And early in my
Even now,
coaching,
you think that?
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
But you just told me we have to love everyone.
not everybody, not ourselves, just other people.
Just not ourselves.
not other people, not myself, girl. Have you met me? I'm just kidding.
Wait, what? Are you gaslighting me right now?
No, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not. No.
So you're surprised that people showed up for you?
Well, so keeping in mind, during that time, I was sneaking out at night. I was stealing things from other people. I was doing sex. I was hiding meth. I was making money, selling my mom's medications. I was doing all of this shit that just makes you feel like shit, right?
Yeah.
And so God is saving me. Why the fuck would you save me? And then when I came into coaching, people would ask me my opinion. I'm like, why the fuck would you want a meth addict's opinion? Like, what value do I have in a conversation at this point in time in my life?
So much.
And, well, that was what one of the, she goes, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
She's like, I want to know what you have to say.
Yeah.
And so,
you know that like no one calls me out.
what's that?
No one calls me out. Like you have called me out more since I've known you than most people. That's the power you bring.
Okay.
Too. Is like you have you give yourself permission to be real.
Yeah. I mean, most of my life I was the underdog. And so I didn't have the looks and I didn't have the friends. So I had to develop something. And I think that's just the thing that I developed, and I'm a hyperly sensitive. And so again, I know what it feels like on a lot of those levels. And when I look back now, I'm 6 years sober now. I look back and I'm like, God put me on the underbelly so I understood it, so I could live it and be with it, right? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And like, I can sit in a room with a gang member and somebody who's been human trafficked and have something in common with them instantly. I know what it feels like not to be human or not to be treated like a human. And that just sucks. That really sucks. And that we do that to other people, not okay, right? And that we do to ourselves, that's not okay. And so, yeah, I want people to realize how magnificent and how fabulous they are in life, because why not? Right?
Where are the tears coming from?
It's a lot of hurt and just a lot of, like I said, a lot of shitty stuff that people have done. And I still love people like some fucking idiot. And I just want people to get how fabulous they are. Right. And I think that's where the sadness comes from. I sit in the rooms of recovery and I facilitate groups, and I watch like 19-year-old girls just like suddenly hook up in the room. She's brand new, like hook up in the room and want to have sex and then go do some Xanax and disappear. And like she's 19. Like she won't know what life is until it is taken from her. Right. And that fucking sucks. Yeah. But that's the human experience. Right. And I think that's where the sadness comes from, is I think most humans have to learn from remorse and not from joy. That sucks. Right? Yeah. That's most of us. Yeah. Cool.
But I think that's a really hard part of our job.
What do you mean?
Like, you can't live in that space.
Which space specifically?
Being so empathic. Being so emotional to somebody else's struggle.
Yeah. Tell me why.
You have to compartmentalize that. And
that's what's not working.
But it's necessary because it's so, like, if you thought about that 19-year-old girl when you were at home or you're in the shower.
I do.
See, but that's.
Hello?
You can't do that.
Excuse me. Yes, I can.
No.
I do.
Because that's a lack of boundaries.
No, it's not. I don't go try to save her, but it doesn't mean I can't sit there and go, God, like, how do I connect to her in a different way? Or what could I say to her that would support her in conversation? So literally that girl showed up at my partner's gallery. Lovely jacket, by the way.
Yes, I'm wearing his partner's original. That says Dr. Leslie. Tabby.
And okay. She showed up at his gallery and said I was one of her favorite facilitators, because I sit down with her and I go, girl, You sitting on your phone is not going to get you what you want in your life. You told me in day one, I love meeting somebody on day one because I will hammer the shit out of them. And then I know 6 weeks from now, I'm going to bring that right back up because they were raw in that moment. And 6 weeks later, when they take their ego back, I'm going to shove that thing right back in their face. I'm like, you told me day one that you can't seem to hold down your commitments to your life and you're tired of living out on the streets and all those things. And here you are fucking around like this. Like at the end of the day, what kind of life are you going to live if that happens again? So I can't carry that around with me. It doesn't have to be my burden to carry, but it doesn't mean I can't care about you and figure out a selection or some form of a conversation to support you. I don't have to carry her weight around, but I can still think about her.
Oh, that's interesting. So how do you differentiate thinking about her and not carrying her weight when it is a very weighted thought?
Her choices.
So you're kind of like working your way to like an epiphany of a treatment goal?
Yes.
When you're not with her?
Yes.
Okay.
Or how do I get to be different so that when I meet more people like that, I'm able to support them? Because like I told you before, like I may never see them again. They can go use fentanyl and die, or they can go back on the streets and never come back again. And so I feel like I have one shot with you. So I'm going to fucking use that shot to get in there and figure out where you are. Hate me or not, I don't give a shit if you live, right? And so that's where I go, right? And so hate me or not, I don't care at that point in time. But when I get people and I can't get past that wall, then I strategize in my head of like, well, what kind of conversation would have supported me? Or what did she say about blah, 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 blah? Or how does that look, blah, 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 blah. And then sometimes I'll just ask them, I'm like, look, I've been thinking about you over the weekend and I'm really kind of concerned about you. So what do you think is getting in your way? Like, what could you do differently for yourself? Or are you willing to be this? Like, be honest with me. Don't lie to me. Like, what are you willing to do in this space? Right. And so, yeah, I don't feel like I have to carry their emotional crap around. What I carry around is when I feel like I've harmed someone, that I will carry. And then I get into my fixer mode, and then I get into emotional turmoil, and my poor partner will be like, okay, just let it go. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand. It's someone's life I'm playing with on some level. And so that's not okay to me. And so I don't get to be imperfect, which is a lot of pressure. A lot of times.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, a lot of times. Yeah.
Because I imagine you also remember the providers that you had and the impact that they had on you.
Yeah.
And it fucking stands out. The good, the bad, the ugly. I remember people who have hurt me so much in my career. And then I remember people who have helped me vividly. And we are in that role now to a lot of other people.
Yeah. But I also get to remember I don't get to decide the difference it makes. You're only going to hear what you want to hear through your filter at your time and your emotional space and whatever medications you're on and how long you've been sober. I don't get to decide those things for you. And so, I'm going to go at it and just kind of let you fall where you fall. But it doesn't mean I can't love you while you're doing it. I remember I just finished the 12 steps. Most odd sponsee to walk up to me. She's a stripper with like these fucking huge whatever you want to call them.
Boobs?
Whatever. I don't know what to do with them, so I don't call them.
Jugs?
Whatever
I don't know.
Boobs, whatever. Yeah. But she's this little Filipino girl, huge ass tits. She's an attorney, but on the weekends, she is stripping, making more money than as an attorney and doing coke during the day.
So
and
she's not a very good attorney, or she's a really good stripper?
Well, I guess she's a good stripper because she was making more money as a stripper than she was an attorney. I don't think she was happy being an attorney. And also, I know you said you've never done drugs. Realizing like drugs enhance life to a way that makes everything so vibrant. It makes so like if your life sucks, then all of a sudden you've gone from the Wizard of like Kansas to Wizard of Oz. It's kind of what it feels like. So when you pull that away, then everything looks like Kansas. And it sucks. And so she was pulling the cocaine away and wanting to quit the job, but afraid of losing the money and losing her friends and losing how she felt about herself and the people and all those things. And so, but I remember telling her, I'm like, girl, you don't have to love you yet. Just let me love you. And then you'll learn how to love yourself through the process. Right. And so,
holding space for her.
Yeah. But I think, you have kids, and we've talked about this. Like, the 8-year-old that lives with us, what I've realized the most is she doesn't even know what kindness means. She doesn't know what gratitude even means. She doesn't know a lot of things that they have to be taught. And so when you're coming into sobriety, you don't know how to be kind to yourself. You don't know how to do self-care. You don't know how to talk to other people. Like I was talking to a girl earlier today. She's like, I don't trust people. I'm like, let's see, you were on the streets for 6 years. You were a prostitute. You hung out with drug dealers. You were beat up quite a few times. I don't know why you wouldn't trust people. They would all sound like trustworthy people, right? Like, well, of course, that would make sense. You're walking into recovery not trusting people because you hung out with the slugs of the world, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to take you a long time to want to love people back and trust them. But I will guarantee you the thing that is missing the most is you don't think you're capable of trusting yourself. Once you learn how to trust yourself, you don't need to trust other people because you'll walk away, right?
But that's such an impossible thing for so many people to trust themselves.
Do you think it's impossible or they just don't know?
I think it's a journey some people will never complete. I mean,
Yeah,
what
right.
you had said when we had the best peppermint mochas of our lives. Is that what that was called?
Orgasmic.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the smoothness is still in my mouth.
It was fabulous. I agree. Yeah. It's fabulous.
But what you had said is that you can feel still.
Hmm.
You can feel at peace.
Yeah. Amen.
That's rare. Just like trusting yourself.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree. I just think people aren't paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, go back to your first Christmas or go back to the first love or go back to the moment you're walking in nature and hearing the crunching of the snow or the underbrush. Those were all moments that you felt a higher level of emotion. And I mean, I teach this in groups, right? Like, we are only the emotions we practice. And so if you're sitting there and you're fixating on, oh my God, what if my car breaks down? And what if my partner leaves me? And what if I don't have enough money? And what if I get this wrong? And what if I relapse? And like, I'm focusing on anxiety, overwhelm, fear, anger, and I'm practicing those emotions all day long. They're my default emotions, right? And so I teach them in detoxes. I'm like, what was the last time you felt joy? I always get, I don't know if I ever felt joy. I'm like, fucking shut up. When did you last feel joy?
When I was
like,
high? Is that?
No, a lot of
What's
them,
the
like,
answer?
yeah, a lot of them, like one will go, well, I don't know about this or that, but I felt love. Okay, great. So, and if I know they were a parent, I'm like, tell me about when your child was born. What was that like for you? And especially if it's a dad. And they'll,
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that's trauma for me when my kids are born.
That's why I changed it. I was like, especially if it's a dad. Because I was like, oh, wait, her, but JJ's open. Things are flying out. It's probably not a good moment for her.
Yeah. No.
Get it back out.
Excuse me, not my vajayjay. It was a C-section. I'm still fully intact and tight. Thank you.
Okay, great. TMI. Thank you. Got it. But like at the end of the day, right? Like you think of the moments that the human nature isn't to focus on what's working. We focus on what's not working.
Yeah.
And when you start to train yourself to go the other direction, then you start like finding gratitude in the stupid, like I love the pink stuff behind you. I think that's super cute and super fun.
Isn't that ironic that you're looking at the pink side of the studio and I'm looking at the jail cell?
I'm okay with that. I'm good with it. And so like, I think those are super cute. Like my brain focuses on the happiness of it all, right?
My brain focuses on the
really
darkness.
That doesn't fit like your life right there.
Maybe it's fitting my life because it's there.
Okay. What do you mean?
The darkness.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like feeling caged, feeling like the world's observing you and you can't get back out.
Yeah. But that's the job. And I think that's what I appreciate about you so much is that you are around people who are caged.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
It's their cage. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing.
But I'm around them too, right? But it's like, you're happier than me. Like you're more grounded and more able to find peace than I am.
Again, it's practice. You got to practice those points. Like taking your child's first Christmas. What was that like? And then you practice it and you remember, like, I remember the wrapping of the paper and the smell of the gingerbread house and what it was like outside. And like you're activating the senses so that the senses don't know the difference between reality and the past. Because you're doing it anyway with anxiety. You're doing it anyway with overwhelm or fear or anger. You're practicing the past and you're having a physical response to it. So the brain thinks it's real. Same thing with peace. Same thing with love. Same thing with trust. You practice it. right? And you've got to make it a conscious effort because you've unconsciously been training this for so long. And yeah,
But
go ahead.
but you must have cages.
Oh God. Well, I just told you earlier, I don't even want to listen to myself. Yeah. Like, I don't even listen to myself ever.
Okay, so you're just gonna watch this episode over and over?
No.
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 Oops, commercial time. What are your jails,
Cages.
prisons, whatever we call them?
Body stuff for me. Yeah, body stuff for me. What
do you mean?
God, I feel fat all the time. I feel
You're not fat at all.
You asked me a question, girl. Don't be deflecting my moments.
Okay.
Curtail.
You're like snatched. I don't
No.
Okay.
No. No, I mean, most of my life I was called fat tub of goo, or I was told I was awkward or ugly or whatever. And so all that stuff resonated. Like when you're 7, 8 years old. And then I went in musical theater. So the dancers are like, you're too fat, you're too this, you're too that, you're too short, or you're not masculine enough. You get shown all of your weaknesses in those moments versus who you are as a person, that those stay with you, right? And
100%. That sounds horrifying. I mean, just to be picked on in that way because of looks and wanting to be a dancer.
Welcome to life.
But it's such a profession that just it looks so difficult.
Yeah, but how is that any different than what you do for a living? There's pros and cons on both sides, right?
Yeah.
I have to make certain steps in my life to protect me, my family, my life, my overall. And at the same time, I get to be with people and be in that. There's a pro and con in there. It's the same thing, right? There's a pro and con. Whatever I'm choosing, there's a price to it, and there's a pro to it, right? In those aspects. And so, but yeah, my body for me, I wish I could see myself the way other people see me, and I think that's the human reality, is we will never see ourselves, and I think that's there's a lot of sadness in that, because you'll never see how magnificent you are. The last week of my mom's life, she'd gotten the cancer metastasized to her brain, so she was just kind of being odd all the time. And I said something to her, and she's like, yeah, but I'm a failure. I shouldn't have met your dad. And this is my mom telling me this, right? I shouldn't have met your dad. I shouldn't have had kids. I just wasted my life, blah, blah, blah. I'm a horrible person. And I remember getting incredibly upset and be like, have you ever met yourself before? And she goes, well, no. And I go, then you can never say something negative about yourself until you meet yourself, because then you will really see who you are, not who you think you are, right? And so I don't think any of us gets that luxury until it's too late to see ourselves, right? That sucks, I think. So those are probably my cages in that sense.
How do you get out of them? Or how?
I probably do what most people do. I ignore them a lot of times, right? I probably I don't let them be the focus of my reality. I trust what my partner says sometimes, not all the time. But so when he calls me attractive, I'm like, whatever. You have to tell me that, but he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to tell me that. Right? And so grateful for that.
Well, and he seems straightforward.
That's an understatement. Yeah, that's an understatement. Yeah, no, and so I mean, those are definitely a lot of the issues. I'm incredibly insecure in who I am as an. That's why it's funny. Most people call me zen and grounded. But you know this in your own head, no one in their, I don't know, everybody, but most people deal with not good enough. Most people deal with insecurities and not feeling like whatever. If you've gone to public schools or any form of a school, you know what not good enough feels like. You're not getting enough grades. You're not participating enough in class. You're not good enough in sport. There's enough comparison happening all the time for not good enough to show up in all of our spaces across the board, right? So I think most of us know what that feels like. But I try to humanize it that way. You know what it feels like, just like I do. So why am I going to use it as a weapon against myself? If that makes sense. So the company I started 6 years ago was called You Embracing You, because I was like, you have to embrace everything, the good and the bad, the ugly and the shiny, right? And so
this is the coaching business.
Yeah, my coaching business. Yeah. And so, yeah, I realized the not good enough actually has me have compassion for other people. The not good enough has me realize that I'm in comparison, which means I'm wanting something or needing something that I'm not giving myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I use it as a superpower, not as sometimes, and not as a weapon, right? But I'm a human having a human experience, right? So I didn't want to come today. I was like, I feel shitty. I've had 5 sucky ass groups. People were shitty today. And I was just like, I don't fucking want to go talk to somebody today. And so, yeah. And then I have to talk about myself. No bueno.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, you're doing a really good job.
Thank you. Yeah.
Talking about yourself.
Well, we can talk about you. Yeah.
How do you become a coach?
Can I give you some feedback?
Yeah.
Are you open to that? I think when we start to go deep, you get light. Like you go the other direction. You'll make a joke or you'll lighten the moment versus going into the discomfort. I've noticed that like 3 times. So
tell me what times.
Talking about drug addiction, talking about like the hospital thing, and then you kind of moved into a different space. And then I don't know all of them, but that was my experience. Like that's my experience.
What could I have done different?
Tell me more. That feels hard. What about it did you learn, or where did that go from there? Just let the person sink. Just trust me, they won't. Just trust that process. Okay, I learned you're asking me how I became a coach. I'm kind of answering it in an indirect way.
Yeah.
One of my mentors said that there's always a net, but you won't believe that there is. So just before you hit the ground, there'll be a net. And so I've always learned in my own coaching, trust that there's a net. Even though it feels like we're both falling without a parachute, there's a net. And so...
but you have the ability to, I don't know, to be embraced by the net. I don't know if everyone does. Like, giving people more depth to fall.
Okay.
It could injure them. That's my fear, is because you have resiliency that most people don't have to that degree.
I don't agree. I think that because we hold people so damn small, they stay small. Like, people are, I mean, come on. We've been around thousands of years. We've creating this freaking AI thing now. Like, all these things are evolving and humanity keeps evolving along with it, right? And so I don't believe that for a second. I think that when you hold somebody small, that's what they believe their container is, right? But when you remove their container, then they go apeshit a little bit, but they also realize what they're capable of, right? In those situations. And you're saying I've done enough transformational trainings where I've been the coach, I've been in the trainings, I've been staff, I've been all these different things where I've seen people do the most miraculous things that you thought were like a 78-year-old Braille woman suddenly climbing a telephone pole and going, I'm fucking awesome, right? Like you don't know what people are capable of doing or being until you give them the space to go do those things. And you got to give people space to do those things. And if they break, it heals, right? And it just creates a whole new level for them to heal from, right?
But like on camera?
Yeah.
For the world to see?
Okay. Like, what would your concern?
Breaking someone, like, I feel bad.
Then refer them to someone. Have a relationship with somebody else. Whatever you create those boundaries, right?
Yeah.
But like even in this, I think this is funny. Even in this conversation, you're arguing the limitations versus seeing the opportunity. You have nothing to lose.
I have just the liabilities are running through my head.
Okay, cool. Liabilities only come into place because we broke something.
Yeah. I don't want to break anyone here.
You can't. You can't.
I can break them in other places, but
you can't break them here. Again, I think that's holding them very small.
Yeah.
You don't, I mean, you just talked about having this girl human trafficked that didn't fucking break her. You're not touching her, girl.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't think you're that powerful. That's fucking no, you are not that powerful. So
she was really awesome.
Yeah. So don't be afraid of breaking somebody because you don't have that ability. Only they do. Yes?
So is this like you coaching me?
Kind of.
Or is this just us talking?
Yes, to both. I don't know how
Is it the same thing?
Poor Gus. He doesn't have any choices. It fucking doesn't matter, child. Get over it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do. I talk to my friends like this too. And my poor roommate, she's probably like, oh God, I hate when he talks to me. Yeah.
Is this like when people hire you, this is what they're going to get to?
Pieces of it. Yeah. Yeah. Because again, I respect you. I know who you are, meaning I know that your background of psychology and so on and the things that you've done, that like you can handle this conversation. Just like, I'm not afraid to break you. Do you think I could break you?
No.
So why do you think you could break somebody else?
Because I'm trained.
So I'm not trained.
No, you're trained. I don't think I'm going to break you.
So then push.
But it's the other people that I think I would break.
Again, you can't. I think you know that, yes?
No.
Well, come on. Like, what would be the worst thing that could happen?
Someone would kill themselves?
So that would be something that was already present for them. You know that.
Yeah, but I don't want to be the trigger.
You don't have that choice. You not saying something could be the trigger.
Yeah,
You don't get to decide that.
Yeah.
Like you being the victim to that conversation holds the conversation small versus like, no. And then again, if you follow up with them afterward, have the conversation with them and be like, look, I'm afraid that I pushed you in this moment. How are you feeling about it? I'm really wanting to make sure you're good. If they tell you yes, then how is that you're the trigger?
Yeah.
Like don't
Do you think I'm a control freak?
I don't know. I don't know you well enough. I'll be honest with you. I think that you strive for excellence, which means the excellence also has to show up in your space. But I think a lot of people who are doing what you're doing, that's required of them, because attention to detail is what people notice the most, I think, in those aspects. Does it make sense? And that with Tavi, it's kind of the same thing. Like attention to detail for him, he pays attention to it in that aspect. Yeah. So I think everyone's a control freak because we're all scared shitless. And if I don't have control, which I don't have, then what do I have? Nothing. I think you and I talked about, like, I was doing EMDR, and if you're not familiar with EMDR, I know you are, but it's like someone not familiar with EMDR, whoever's listening, they'll ask you on a level of 1 to 10, what level is that emotion? And I got down to a 1 on, like, it's the lowest part of it. So 10's really high, 1's like almost gone, and they want you to get to a 0. And it was feeling like there's something wrong with me. And he goes, where are you? And I said, a 1. And he goes, what would a 0 look like? And I went, I'm not willing to let that go. Like, I'm not willing to let go that there's something wrong. Because then who would I be? Like, that's been my label since I was 3. If I let that go, then who the fuck am I? It's the same thing with control. Like, if I don't have control, then who am I? Like, you don't have control anyway. Yes?
Well, I have a self-perception of control.
Yeah, that's my point.
Are you still at a 1?
I mean, I think there's something uniquely distinct about me because of that situation that happened at 3. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. So that's where you would push. Well, so let's act like you did know. What would I know look like? Yes.
Okay. There is a glimpse of you knowing.
Yes.
That you're just
Well, who else would know but me?
Well, but there's a glimpse there that you just didn't say.
What do you mean?
At 3.
Yeah.
What's the glimpse?
Oh, thank you. That clicked it. Thank you for that. Because I wouldn't have gotten in trouble if there wasn't something wrong with the situation. So whether you think something's wrong with me or not, or whether I think it or not, I wouldn't have gotten in trouble. I was 3. I was painting my nails with my dad's military friend's daughter, and there was smelly grape and strawberries, and they smelled like that, and I was smelling them. And my dad beat the shit out of me for it and called me, you can't be a girl. He was embarrassed. He was 28 years old at the time in the military. And so when the therapist goes, what would a 0 look like? And I go, I don't think I could. Because if it wasn't something wrong with me, then I wouldn't have gotten in trouble, at least from his perception. right? And so how do I let something go that was the reality? Does that make sense?
What's the answer?
I don't for me in this moment, I don't let it go. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with believing that there's something wrong with me as long as it doesn't drive me. I think it was driving me for a very long time to want people to like me. And it doesn't drive me today, which is cool, right? Which is a little more freeing in that aspect. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you at 3 years old.
Again, awesome to say, but our psyche takes in that there's like a 3-year-old, that's their own reality and they think they are the center of the world. So if something happens, it's because of them in some way, shape, or form. And so if I'm still looking back in those moments, 1976, 73-ish, right? Dad's military, 28 years old, doesn't know what gay even looks like, grew up in a small town in New Mexico, military Iceland, all of his friends are around, we're in this guy's house, this is what's happening, and his son's painting his nails. Like, how do you think you'd respond as a 20-year-old heterosexual male? Like, what the fuck? Why would he do this? Like, that's so embarrassing.
That's everything about him.
Oh, I get it. But again, I think that if there wasn't something wrong with me in that moment, I wouldn't have gotten in trouble. Or if I would have been accepted in that moment, then I wouldn't have thought there was something wrong with me. But a little bitty piece of me will always think that there's something wrong with me because of how that was reacted to. Does that make sense?
If I ask you to say, there's nothing wrong with me.
Okay.
Say it.
There's nothing wrong with me. Okay.
When I was 3, there was nothing wrong with me.
When I was 3, there was nothing wrong with me. Yeah.
There was a lot wrong with my dad.
I don't know that there was a lot wrong with my dad. I think that my dad just had his own reality. Why are you trying to correct it out of curiosity?
Your dad beat the shit out of you and you're 3 years old and he's military trained.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with him?
Again, that was the role model I was shown through most of my life.
Yeah.
And so that's my reality of like, even in that, that's actually kind of cool. Thank you for that. Even in that moment, it's like, that's what well, it's interesting because they teach people like, what does love look like? Right. And our parents show us the role model of love. And so in that moment, that's what love looked like, right? It looked like someone who is embarrassed with who I am, someone who will become physical if I am truly being myself, and doesn't have to accept me in that aspect. And so that's been a lot of my relationships. Yeah. Yeah.
So again.
Damn it. What?
At 3 years old.
Okay.
There was nothing wrong with me.
Agree. There's nothing wrong with me at 3.
There was a lot wrong with my dad.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot wrong with my dad at that moment. Yes. In those moments. Yeah.
What was that feeling?
Disbelief, wanting to crack a really sarcastic joke, blowing it off, wanting to move on, discomfort, embarrassment, feeling called out. Yeah, those are all of them.
So if you want to hire Brian, you can find him at because I just fucking
his fucking issues.
But I just fucking did what you were just coaching me to do.
Yeah, and I love it.
And you just had a little mini breakthrough.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And did you break me?
No.
Got it. Gotcha. What happened for you? Did you suddenly get really uncomfortable?
No, not at all.
Oh, damn it! You did it wrong.
Actually, it's really funny. Is the only discomfort I had was, oh my God, is it so obvious that I'm doing exactly what he told me to do?
No.
It was my perfectionism.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing, right? Is when we're in the moment, we don't notice what the other person's doing or not doing. So you're fine. No, I didn't notice it at all.
But it was my just self-focus.
Your own insecurity.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah.
Oh my God, we just did like a therapy session for the world to see on both of us.
I need to see that. And I don't smoke. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. No, it was an epiphany for me. I appreciated that. See, and I love that. I love that when we don't push each other in our lives. And we have not talked about that I have a partner, right? But my poor partner, I believe that that's where the most uncomfortable conversation should occur is in a relationship. If I can't have that conversation with him, then I'm not safe in that relationship. I can't be in the relationship. And so that poor guy, I'll have conversations like this all the time. Like it or not, my friend, you're having these conversations with me. And that's where he's incredibly, you've met him. He's incredibly direct until that happens. And then he'll back up, he'll process it and come back forward when needed. And I appreciate that. Yeah. So
I can see that. I mean, you're a force to be reckoned with when you are on.
Oh, thank you.
When, I don't know what to call it. You feel it. You're in touch with it, intuitive.
Yeah. I get downloads. And when I'm getting the download, I listen to the download and I get me out of the way. Yeah, that's what you're asking me earlier. I was like, how do I do that? I get me out of the way because it's not about me. Yeah, that's the thing. There's a prayer that I do. I made up this prayer. Sometimes before I go into group is, God, speak to me and through me and let me step out of the way to serve the highest purpose and the highest good of the person I'm here to serve today. And so it is. And it gets me out of the way, right? Because when I know I've got a headache or I've got a migraine or stomach ache or leg day or whatever, then I don't want to deal with people.
Leg day?
Oh, girl, today was leg day. Talk to me tomorrow. And you'd be like, he's a bitch.
I am. I'm going to be like, we're FaceTiming and you're going to lunge.
I'm going to be a bitch. I'm going to guarantee it. I'm going to be a bitch. But I did get a really cool weight training belt that I put on today. And I felt like a distorted munchkin or a distorted Oompa Loompa. But it helped me with my leg day. So that was super lovely. So I did feel like a distorted Oompa Loompa. Yeah. Have you ever used a weight training belt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're hard.
They suck.
Like
all the
exercise is hard.
Yeah, it's like working out or something. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Okay, cool.
Well, tell us all where people can find you. Because now, I mean, you're going to have like clients. Oh my God, I never said your name.
Oh yeah, I don't need that.
I just said Brian. How are people going to find you?
Just the guy formerly known as Brian. Yeah. So the company is You Embracing You. It's youembracingyou.com. So it's YOU.
Okay.
It's YOU, embracingyou.com. Name is Brian Burnett. And,
with 2 T's.
2 T's, just like Carol Burnett. Those of you who are old enough. God. I'm in groups now and I'll say stuff. I'm like, oh, you guys remember Minnie Pearl? And they're like, who? I even said the other day, do you guys remember Whitney Houston? Somebody said who? I was like, shut the door.
People don't remember like Saved by the Bell.
So we're getting older. Anyway. Yeah. So You Embracing You, Brian Burnett. You were asking really about my coaching. Yeah, I do. People will come to me and they'll go, I don't know why I can't get the relationship I want in my life. Or I don't know, I'm not making the money I want in my life, or what's getting in my way. And it's always a belief. It's a pattern or something. And they believe that it's them. My favorite client was this guy. He broke up 7 times with 7 different women. They all ended the same way. And he's like, I don't know what's wrong with the women I'm going out with. And I go, dude, go stand in the mirror of the bathroom and go, I'm a fucking idiot. Like, go, you're the common denominator, you idiot. So we looked at it and like he looked at his patterns. I'm like, okay, walk me through the relationship. What does that look like? What does it start in the first month? What does it look for the second month? And we kind of walked through the process and I'm like, now what do you hear in that? And I let them discover it versus me tell them usually, because I think it lands more for people than me going, well, did you just hear that? And then they get to have their own epiphanies. And sometimes people aren't ready to hear those epiphanies. So I just stopped telling them their epiphanies. Well, you know that as a therapist.
But I'm really glad people could listen to us talk this through, because I think this is a really good example of what you offer as a coach.
Yeah, for sure. And like as a client. Yeah.
But how else would anyone really understand? I mean, you see like Tony Robbins on the stage.
Yeah.
But like this is a very real portrayal of when you hire a coach, how it should go.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the coach should be the person telling you things you don't want to hear. And like, you don't hire someone because they're nice. You hire them because they're going to hold you to the fire.
Yeah.
And so that's the purpose of a coach, in my personal opinion. And, I have this, I told you this woman, she'll get on the phone call and she calls herself a little girl. I'm a weak little girl, and she's 62 years old. And I'm like, don't you ever call yourself out on the fucking phone call again. You were 62 years old, my dear. You have 2 daughters. Get over that, right, in that aspect. And so, don't ever call yourself that ever again in that aspect. But I think that's our job, to call people out. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Don't hold people small in these podcasts. Yeah. Treat them like they're giants already, and then they will be giants in your podcast. They will. I guarantee it.
I think it's great. I think I needed to hear it.
Cool. Yeah, get out of your own way. It's not worth it. Yeah, cool.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you for showing up after doing all your groups today and not wanting to fucking be here.
I fucking didn't want to be here. Chihuahua was walking me, walk out of the house. He was like, hey, dude, you haven't walked me yet. I haven't shit. So, yeah, super awesome. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have a dog. I need to go take her
three
out.
dogs. I have 3 dogs, yeah. Oh, your dog.
Yeah.
Oh. Is she here?
No, because the heater was broken. So,
okay, got it.
I didn't want her. She'd be like panting and then the microphone to pick it up.
Got it. Okay, cool. We asked me how to find me. You Embracing You, schedules. You can schedule something on there.
Okay. That's a good way.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Cool.
Okay, well, that was a different kind of episode, but I loved it. I feel like the therapy went back and forth there. That was Brian. Thank you for listening to Brian and I go back and forth. And you literally watched Brian coach me into a point of me then turning it back on to Brian. So, wow. A lot of like psychological manipulation going on there too. That was a very interesting episode. Anyways, thanks for listening to Intentionally Disturbing, and I will catch you the next time.